In studio with us is Rebecca Facey, and she is from the not-for-profit organization Independent Advocates. And if you've not heard of them, when I was reading about them, it kind of reminded me of what CASA does, except Independent Advocates, instead of helping children through the court system, helps domestic violence victims through the court system. How long have you been around?
That's right. We've been providing direct, comprehensive court advocacy services to adult victims of domestic violence since 2007. We're about 3.5 years old now, and have served over 350 women through both civil and criminal court processes here in Lucas County.
Okay, so you're exclusively Lucas County?
Yes, that's right.
Now, how do you get matched up with someone and help them through the system? Give us a scenario of how this might happen.
Sure. Well, oftentimes there are other advocacy organizations in place in the courts, but oftentimes what happens is when victims of domestic violence become very dissatisfied with the system and their experience through the system, not feeling heard, not feeling that they're being protected by the courts, someone tells them to call Independent Advocates, because we really specialize in the cases where women aren't feeling heard by the system and needing some extra help to navigate the system, understand what's happening around them, and have their options better explained.
What are some of the biggest concerns you deal with? I'm guessing maybe things like restraining orders. If somebody has left a bad situation, they don't feel safe with the current protections. Is that sort of a scenario where they might call you?
Absolutely. That's one of the primary cases that we handle is helping victims obtain protection orders, both temporary protection orders through the criminal process as well as civil protection orders through the family courts. And that is something that we know the most dangerous time for a victim of domestic violence is when they're leaving an abusive relationship. So those protection orders are very important to get in place, and we're working not just with the victims of domestic violence but also with the court system to help enforce those protection orders, because it's not enough to just have them in place, but we really need the police and prosecutors backing them up when violations are reported, that there is some sanctions for that kind of behavior.
Now, your Court Watch report recently came out. What is that, and what did it tell you?
Yeah, in 2010, Independent Advocates trained over 60 volunteers to observe and document how domestic violence cases are handled in Toledo Municipal Court, where the majority of domestic violence cases in our community are heard, because they are misdemeanor cases. So we tracked over 1,900 cases, domestic violence cases, and found that 82% of those cases are either dismissed completely or amended to non-domestic violence related charges. So our community is not accepting that and willing to come out in support of the program itself and sit in court and spend their time and energy to watch and report on how the cases are handled, and also to come out in support of this report and saying that the numbers and the findings are simply unacceptable, and we believe in this community and believe that we can turn this problem around.
We are almost out of time, but I want to give people the opportunity to contact you either to become a volunteer or if they need help. How do they get a hold of Independent Advocates?
Of course. Our website is www.iatoledo.org. Our phone number is 567-202-1741, and we can be emailed at independentadvocate@gmail.com for information about volunteering and being involved.
All right. Thank you so much, Rebecca, for your time.
Thank you, Laura.
Coming in today. That is tonight's Talk Back.